live on YouTube, and listen back on Spotify. This is the World of Football podcast.
It's been a while. Good evening and welcome back to the World of Football podcast, listening live on YouTube and listening back on Spotify. It's been a busy time, but the boys are back, minus one, who needs to enter the Hall of Fraud, which is a new segment that we'll debut later on today. But I'm here with a legend. We might have another guest joining us later on, but Mr. Russell, how are we doing?
I am fucking cooking right now, if you want to be honest. I'm good though, but yeah, I'm cooking the YouTube scene at the minute, which is mental, but I'm in good spirits. It's been a while since we've been here. We've returned at my lowest point, I suppose, in a football context, but we're gonna have some fun. So let's just see how it goes. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Been a busy time. Cardiff City, where do we start? I mean, going to Villa Park on Friday, and we're actually in the fifth round of another FA Cup, which is just obscene. So, one of my favourite away days pretty much in the country. I absolutely cannot wait till Friday. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about. We can still go down. So, technically, we're a bunch of frauds anyway, just like Manchester United, who are also in a relegation battle in my eyes. Like any other season, you guys would be in the absolute pit at this point. But aside from that, if you are new around here, if you enjoy what you see, remember to like, comment, subscribe, do what you can to support the pod. That'd be appreciated. But we've only got a couple of topics tonight, but they're open-ended ones. Well, we'll get onto the frauds later on, but I wanted to start one thing in particular. And before anyone goes off saying I've nicked this from Irish Guy, I have been on about this for a while. It's basically an open-ended discussion about the Premier League. We're going to touch on Manchester United. We're going to touch on other bits and bobs as well, including just the mess at the bottom of the league as well. But I just wanted to open up with this question. And if our certain guest comes on later on, I definitely want him to voice his opinions on this, etc., because he's one of the clubs involved as well. The traditional top six, for me, it is now over. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree purely because I've never once even paid much attention to it. I've never really gave it a train of thought, but it is still a prominent discussion. It's over. Yeah, it's over.
Interesting statement. So, in terms of obviously getting at where it's over, because, well, traditional top six, you know the drill of who they are. Obviously, that used to be Everton back in the 90s, but they then turned into a bunch of frauds, and along come Chelsea and City with all the money. But with the extent of obviously the top six now being over, I've seen a lot of people online saying it's now going to turn into a top 17, which I think is just completely ludicrous with the way some clubs are run. But on the other aspect of it, my initial thoughts is that it could very quickly turn into a top 10. You've obviously got Newcastle, obviously, as you call them, the barcode frauds, with all their money and their European football and seeming to be run perfectly at the top. Aston Villa, who, I'm sorry, but they have got pretty much the dream owners of the Premier League coming up, sustainable, selling off big money players and getting extremely good players in much cheaper and just being ridiculously switched on appear stadium expansions, investing everywhere and basically sustaining themselves into pretty much a top European club that just seem going to stay there forever. Marinakis, who I'm a bit surprised about as well, he's morphed Nottingham Forest very quietly in the background mind. He did have to break FFP in his first season to do it, and he's come a long way. Brighton, hipster club, but they've done it. Bournemouth are going up there as well. Best thing they did was stack Scott Parker straight away, which, if God forbid Burnley gets to the Premier League, they need to do straight away when they get promoted next season, because he is a fraud with his style of play. But we'll get onto that jazz later on, especially with Burnley, because I got a lot to say about that club and Sheffield United. And also obviously Fulham as well. One of the richest owners in the Premier League, Shahid Khan. He's had some patchy moments since he took over in 2013, but now, boy, has he sustained them as a top club who's just going to be sat there. But I just wanted to take your thoughts on, obviously, where we're at with the sort of teams in the Premier League at the moment.
I think, truth be told, I think the whole idea of top 4, top 6s, or top 8 as it's becoming, then a top 10, I still think it's all a load of bullshit anyway. For me, it's one team wins it, 3 teams go down. This might sound a little bit crude, but it's the top 1. The only position in this league that matters is number 1. Like, to be fair, every single football league, the position that matters is number 1. If you're not aiming to be number 1, then why are you in this league? Like, now that might sound a little bit crude if you're a promoted championship club, but you've just won the championship. Like, you shouldn't be aiming to go, we just want to stay in the league now. No. If you've won the championship, the best thing you can do is aspire to aim as high as possible. If you're one of the traditional big clubs in a football league, particularly like the top 5 leagues, for example, if you're one of the bigger clubs, you should only be looking at number 1. I blame Arsenal fans for this mentality of top 4. There was no such thing as a top 4 until Arsenal fans started crying that they weren't winning the league anymore. So I still stand by it. The only thing that matters is number 1. And a fan who says, top 4 should be a minimum, as a minimum achievement for the league, or that's your minimum objective, for me, that's somebody who isn't settling to win. That's somebody who won't call their team out when they're not playing well or they're being ran poorly. They're just willing to say, top 4 is safety. You're not safe in the top 4. You're actually most safe when you actually want to win something. When you want to win something, that's when you see who steps up and who doesn't. That's when you know who you trust and who you can't trust. So if you want to do something special in the league, you go all in, and you go all in for number 1. Number 1 is all that matters.
100%, and that also brings us into a little bit with the cup competitions, where you just have these lower side clubs, and we're the worst for it. Is in as a fan base, Cardiff City. Like, there's only 2 ways with us in the cup, and you'll always see it. It's either we get ridiculously far, like I still can't believe as a championship club we have been in both an FA Cup final and also a Carabao Cup final within the last 20 years. That's ridiculous.
Agreed.
Championship side. That shows ambition. But on the other end, when we're doing well in the league or in relegation battles, just sack off the cup. Don't bother winning a trophy.
Which
and that leads you back. It is stupid because it leads you back to this statement.
Always.
Every
if you're
single
not,
show we bring it up.
because I'm always right.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not in a professional sport to win something, then what are you here for? You know what I mean? Like that. You can be the lowest club in the world and you can still have a heart and ambition to even try and make a shock and win something. So I don't get the narrative when people say sack off a competition. If you want to sack something off, then that means that you don't have a conversation with me, put it that way. If your ambition is to just, I don't know, maybe even get the quarterfinals of a cup competition and then finish in the top 4, don't come looking for my opinion. Because my opinion is completely different. My opinion is, if you're in something, you're in it to win it until you're either completely knocked out or you've got like no option of winning. Like, you've got no way of winning at all. There's no chance. Don't come looking for my opinion if that's not your type of standard. Like, I'm way up here. I'm way up here. People are not going to like this, but it's true. People are below me, and that's not arrogance. It's what I grew up with, and it's what I have to suffer.
With obviously what you've grown up with, etc. You've grown up in the era of prime Alex Ferguson, prime Manchester United, treble winners in '99.
Oh yeah,
I think it was treble winners in '08 as well.
Champions League and Premier League.
Champions League, Premier League. Apologies, I forgot. We must
right.
make a final, cutting it out. Treble winners in '99, double winners in 88. No, 2008, sorry. A ridiculous amount of trophies, the rest of it.
Yeah.
In an era of serial winning.
Exactly.
Obviously, that's what you were built up with. And to see it, and I will bring Manchester United into it now, to see it just completely crumble, see this hope that you had with Sir Jim Ratcliffe come in, thinking, oh, he's going to sort out the Glazers, he's going to put everything right. I mean, I had my doubts because of the way he was running Nice, thinking, right, everyone thinks this is the second coming of God, but look at the way he's ran Nice. What have they won? Look at where they are in the table.
He's on par with the Glazers. Yeah, he's on par with the Glazers.
He's basically the biggest problem now. As you said, on par with the Glazers, but shooting down the league, relegation battle now, players that are a bunch of frauds, and we'll get to that segment later. Just the mess off the pitch, more of this news today about cuts, more staff redundancies, catering cuts, which is just ridiculous. Like, how has it gone such a mess? And where do you even go from here now? Because I don't know why. I know I sound arrogant here. I really hope you guys get relegated this season and ultimately Ipswich stay up and pick up a ridiculous amount of form like Wolves are doing it. West Ham are doing it. You guys clearly aren't. I just hope Ipswich get there so they can pip you. Any other season, you would be firmly in the gutter at this point because of how bad the bottom three are. But we'll get onto the bottom three frauds later on. But if it's not this season, with the way things are going, will it be next?
I think the reality is this may not come as perceived arrogance, but this will come as a reality. This will not happen next season. You know what I mean? Like, I think this is like we've been saying on the podcast for a long time, a big reality check for United is due.
Yeah.
Like, a massive reality check is due. And the reality check is 15th league position. Like, they already face, I think this is absolutely funny. United risked losing 20 million per league position from TV revenue, which is absolutely funny anyway. United shouldn't get any TV revenue for how bad they've been. But there's already the big possible reductions in the Adidas deal. Losing the European money like the Champions League is going to be huge. All of that has big ramifications on the club. That will force action. There's a get-out clause for Jim Ratcliffe as well. From the Glazers, they have a get-out clause on his ownership where they could literally go, thanks for the money, you're out. Like, they can just kick him out of everything. Like, Ineos at the end of the season could get completely kicked out of the club. The way things are going, the people that brought in the likes of Berard or Brailsford and all that, these were tipped as strong individual people. It hasn't worked. Now, people are going to say, oh, but it's only their first season. Yeah, it's only their first season. And they've already made so many bad decisions that it's already having a detrimental impact. Like, Ruben Amorim is already, I think he's already regretting his decision to come to the club. Not in the sense that he's regretting it because it's a job that he wants. It is a job he wants. It's the regret that he was told when he came here he was going to get backed. He was going to get fully supported, and he's had nothing at all. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Patrick Dorgu is not support. Like, it's giving him a left wing back, but that's not support. Support is getting him a striker that knows how to finish, getting him midfielders that actually stay injury free, defenders that know how to defend, and a goalkeeper who is absolutely not garbage. Like, this is, if you believe this is, if any Man United fans watching this or watches this on playback or listens to this and wants to call me out on this, I don't care. I'm a brutally honest United fan. If anyone thinks what getting Patrick Dorgu was Ineos supporting Amorim, you're fucking deluded. Like, that is absolute piss poor. And it's even more embarrassing that Ineos have got the money. So I don't care if United are close to PSR. United can easily get through PSR, no problem. The amount of money they make is not even, like, it's hilarious. There's no excuse where Man City can go and spend like 160 million in January and United can't even spend 100. Like,
and on top of that as well, when you look at City and the comparison between City and yourselves within the last 5 years, look at the quality that City signed for you're talking your 40s, your 60 millions.
Exactly.
And then you look at you guys, 70, 80 million for Anthony, who just gets chucked out on loans from Real Betis after he's been exposed to be a complete fraud. And it just happens signing after signing after signing, season after season after season. There's no change there. You bring in Dan Ashworth for 5 months, absolute waste since he couldn't work with.
I said it on this podcast, like when Ashworth got signed, I was like, this is not going to work. I said it because I was like, I don't trust this guy, and I said I don't trust him because of the level of what he's worked with. The highest he's ever worked with is England, but that's a whole different case scenario.
That's that's national, and you just scout. You don't need to sign and and find hidden gems. Like at the end of the day, it worked at Brighton, smallish club. He could sort of develop what he wanted, and he had a ridiculous technical and scouting setup there anyway, because the way that Tony Bloom had done it. And then obviously it didn't work out at Newcastle. Big red flag.
Exactly.
Considering the way they've progressed as a club.
Exactly. And when I look at United in general, United have got no legs to stand on, and I don't know where United go from here, but United are in so much trouble. And I think it's quite interesting. I've never really said this before, but I think it's a fact. United financially, when it comes to revenue, was strongest when Ed Woodward was here, because he actually understands this. United need Ed Woodward in that position with the generate international sales and revenue, like in terms of like that, because United are very weak right now when it comes to that. But on the field, United really needs someone who actually understands that kind of operation and get on with it. Now, I'm glad Ed Woodward isn't at the club in that respect, but in terms of what he's actually qualified in, he should still be handling the TV stuff, the market revenue, because that is where he's at his strongest. When it comes to player recruitment, he's dead in the water. United have got no one. Yeah, he's horrendous. And United are in so much trouble that they've got no idea. Like they have no idea what's to come. And I think they're just badly prepared in general. And I think that's what this season is. This season is a humbling, and it's something that they'll have to do next season to wake up to. They need to wake up, otherwise it will get worse.
100%. Ultimately, I will ask you this question as well. If Ineos stay in, let's just say over the next 3 years, say for example, Ineos, Glazers, next 3 years, they keep doing what they're doing now, cost cutting, stupid decisions, stupid signings, trying to make an impact, get loads of frauds out, bring more loads of frauds in, rinse and repeat managers, get rid of Anarim, bring in another young promising approach from abroad, sacked, rinse and repeat. Very similar to this cycle, which we'll get onto later on. Might as well call it the Man United cycle at this point as well. Yep. Where do you see Manchester United in the next 3 years?
Fighting for 10th. Straight for the hip. Fighting for 10th.
Interesting.
And the likes of Kobe Manu, Garnacho, and all that will be gone if that's the case, because they will be like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Don't blame them. Yeah,
I wouldn't either. I look at it, and right now, United need to fully back Amorim. They need to actually spend. None of that pussyfooting about PSR. I think United are just deliberately worried about PSR. I don't think United are. I know this might sound naive to say, but I don't think United are as close to PSR as these stupid reports say. Like, United have got the biggest revenue in English in terms of English football clubs. Mm-hmm. They've got the third biggest revenue behind Barcelona and Real Madrid. Like, if there's one club I honestly don't think is anywhere near the PSR limits, it's Man United. I think it's bullshit. I think that's just
at the end of the day. Like, I don't understand why people are categorizing that. Like, you're basically up there with the New York Yankees in terms of worldwide revenue, merch sales,
exactly,
TV money, everything, branding, advertising. you're basically one of the biggest global brands in sport. There is absolutely no
Huge.
way you're going to be breaching anything. Like,
Exactly.
whereas Man City on the example, I know they've got obviously more money because of their ownership, Etihad, obviously Abu Dhabi pretty much in general, but because they have nowhere near the club size that Manchester United have got, they're going to be hit with it.
Exactly.
Much less worldwide revenue, much less TV deals.
That's why
You
I
guys have no
generally think
excuse.
it's a load of nonsense.
It is.
I said it in our group chat, I think, before Christmas. I think the whole thing that United are close to PSR is just a way of, like, a get out of United will not back Amorim in January. You know what I mean? I think that's generally what it is. It's, oh, we're so close to the cap limit. It's bullshit. Like, it's generally a means of, we're Man United, we think we've got enough to get out the league and get up and do better. No, like, stop fanning about.
Yeah.
Start actually spending money properly. Start actually improving this squad, and actually show you give a shit. Because we're still in 2 competitions until we're out. We're still in 2 competitions. We should be aiming to maybe not win them both. I don't think we can, but at least going for it and try and win one. We have to win the Europa League. I don't think we're good enough anyway. I don't think we're good enough to win the Europa League, but we have no choice. We have to go for it. I think the reality about United as well in general is, I think they've purposely stripped it down so they can go, let's have a big summer. And I'm like, you're just sacking off a season when there's a chance. We could have, if we had signed a midfielder, a striker, a defender, plus another wing back in January, I reckon we would have been 5-6 positions up the league by now. Not delusional at all. I think if we had actually bought a proper striker, we would have been flying the league. But we haven't done it, and we'll go to the summer and we'll go, maybe if we did sign a striker, we would have been fine. But, like, there's rumours that we're going to make 2 free agent signings in the summer. Jonathan David and bring back Angel Gomez, both on free transfers. I'm like, if that's the case, why not just spend the money and bring them both back now? Bring Angel Gomez back now and sign Jonathan David. At least you would have had a goal scorer. Even though I don't think he's the striker United need, but it just seems like United are deliberately just taking the piss at all costs. Like, they've gave Amorim the hardest position, and I appreciate his honesty when he says his job's hard. He's right. I mean, United gave him the worst ultimatum: join us or you'll never get the job.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think they're talking nonsense. I think they should have just, if the aim was to get Amorim, let him finish the season at Sporting Lisbon, which is what he said he was going to do. He said he wanted to finish the season, then he would come to United. Let him win the league. He'd probably win another cup anyway, so there's a league and cup double. Still enjoy Champions League football, and then come to United with a clean bill of health in the summer. But instead, they gave him an ultimatum. They didn't even back him. Like, Aidan Heavens signing for Arsenal when he's not even, like, nobody's ever seen him play top level football. I think he's a decent player, but, like, that's stupid. Like, United need proper defenders.
They absolutely do. And going back to, obviously, very quickly what you said about the striker problems, Rasmus Højlund,
Fraud.
Listen to these player ratings. In fact, he is going to be the next induction, just looking at this on whoscored.com, into the Hall of Frauds.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he is getting added. He is the next inductee. I know we're going to get onto Phillipe Clement, who I've snuck at the bottom there. Actually, let me get that banner away. Phillipe Clement, he looks like Lady Colin Campbell when she was shocked on I'm a Celeb. But at the end of the day, Rasmus Højlund needs to be the next inductee, and I'll get him added for next week into the Hall of Frauds. And this is the reason why. Listen to these player ratings for his last matches. Everton, 5.76. Tottenham, 6. Crystal Palace, 6. Fulham, 5.7. Brighton, 5.9. Southampton, 6. Liverpool, 6. Newcastle, 5.5. Wolves, 5.9. Bournemouth, 6. Man City, 6. Nottingham Forest, 7.2. Scored. I mean, how many matches is that after? He hasn't scored since the start of December.
Yeah,
look how much money you spent on him.
16
Another-
games without a goal. 16 games without a goal.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I've tried to defend this guy before. Like, I've tried. And I refuse to now. Like, I every time I see him, I'm like...
He's undefendable.
Yeah, I'm like, every time I watch United now and Rasmus Højlund starts, either we don't score, then eventually he comes off, then we score. Or we score despite him playing. Like, he is pure evil. Rasmus Højlund is pure evil. Pathetic decision to sign him. Pathetic decision to sign him. And Ten Hag as well.
Decision for him, and also Xerxes as well. Another fraud.
Yeah, I think he's better in a deeper position. I don't think he can lead the line, but
no, he can't. We've seen him many times this season, isolated, struggling to get anything forward. If he's there developing, maybe a false nine, he'd be all right. But
yeah, or one of those 10 players. But Rasmus Højlund, you physically can't defend him at all.
No,
like he's incurable from terrible strikeritis. Like he is a cancer to strikers. Like he is a cancer to strikers. Like that's how bad Rasmus Højlund is.
He 100% is.
Like you can't cure him. Like you can't cure him. Obviously, it's a horrible disease. I'm not saying he is legit cancer, but you cannot cure him as a striker. As a top level striker, you think he's going to get 25, 30 goals a season. He doesn't even get 5 now. Like that's how bad he is. You know what I mean? Like he is awful. It's like going into a Pokemon battle. You're up against a level 100 Charizard, and all you've got is a level 1 Magikarp. That's Rasmus Højlund. All he does is splash.
Best comment of the night. I absolutely love that. But I'm going to quote you this before I move swiftly on. How much would you want for him if he was to go in the summer?
A free transfer. I don't care. I honestly don't care. Apparently Leeds want him. Oh. They took Dan James off me. They made me a happy man. They can take Højlund.
Oh, imagine that. Patrick Bamford and Rasmus Højlund up front. Now that is what you call fraud watch.
That would be hilarious. I would actually watch that just for entertainment of them failing to score every opportunity they get.
I literally hope they get promoted just for that reason alone. But speaking about other Premier League fans, I am so glad to get this man back on this show.
I think if we're honest, though, I think they get 30 million. I think if you're honest, I think they get 30.
If they're lucky.
Yeah.
Mr. Douglas Horn, how are you doing? I think I might have added you in a bit early, but...
Can you guys hear me okay? Or is my audio a little bit bad?
No, we can hear you, bud. Hope you're doing well. How are you doing?
We can hear you. We just, because I can't see it work anymore, we just can't say, there we go. The cheeky bugger got moved building.
How are we doing?
Very well. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm not too bad.
Brilliant.
Feels like an age since I was last on here, so
I know.
Yeah, it's good to be back on. I mean, I was trying my very, very best, obviously, made at the start of the show, but obviously, daddy duty's got in the way. So, but no, thank you for inviting me on.
You're still. I mean, you've just literally gone after I've compared Rasmus Højlund to cancer, so you're in it the right time.
I was literally in the studio when you said that. So, yeah.
But it's true though. Like, not in the sense of I'm calling them that legit thing. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to illness, when it comes to being a striker, Rasmus Højlund is incurable for burying chances. Like he just can't do it.
I just don't see. As I was saying last night, Manchester United, especially with the fact now that Gamarim's been, I think it's highly documented and fancy him. And I think when you look at the game at the weekend, Everton will kick themselves because they should have won that game.
4-5-0 is what I said to my dad. He was like, what do you think will happen to the weekend? I was like, you'll lose to Liverpool and we'll probably get beat 4-0.
Well, for a time it looked like that was the case, but obviously not. But no, I think there's a big mess in Manchester United. I've been saying it for a number of weeks now. I think it's definitely boardroom level. I feel sorry for Ruben Amorim going in there, because I think he's gone into a bit of a a poison chalice, unfortunately.
You know what's mad is I can generally see, and Al, for the sake of his own individual pride, I don't want him to get sacked. I don't want him to leave the club. But honestly, the way things are going, I know he can rebuild a club. He done it with Sporting twice, but this is a rebuild way above his, just even way above him. I think for the sake of Amorim actually enjoying his way of football and how he wants a club to play, honestly, he should ask for his release, in my opinion, at the end of the season. Like, he's only on like a 2-year contract. If I was Ruben Amorim, I would say, I want out. Just let me go.
Yeah.
Because I don't think United are going to properly back him. I don't think United are going to properly spend on the players he wants for his system. And I think United haven't got a clue what they want. I don't even know who United are right now. You know what I mean? Like,
So
Just
it's all these
firefighters.
unnecessary cuts as well, isn't it?
another 152 to 200 jobs have been cut today.
Disgraceful.
That's
It's
mental.
it's disgusting. Like, the one club that never done anything during COVID, and they're doing it now. But that's how much it makes me feel. Like, I'm
It's shocking.
It's so indefensible, and I'm starting to think, like, I never wanted the Qatar ownership. It's not that I'm not against Middle Eastern ownership or anything like that. It's United doesn't need an owner like that. I've always said United have got the money they generate on their own to bulldoze any club in the Premier League. Like that's a fact. Like, United out generate anyone in the Premier League. I think the next best, I think it's either Liverpool or Chelsea. I think, but with legitimate revenue, and I think we could easily do all that. I think United just needs somebody who's going to come in and just take care of, like, rebuilding or redeveloping or starting a new stadium and redeveloping the training ground and clearing off the club's debts. I think United could easily use their revenue to completely renovate the actual first team squad. But it doesn't seem like that at all, and I'm genuinely concerned. I actually think, as much as I thought Jim Ratcliffe at the start would have actually been all right for Man United, and now I'm not even. I'm generally on the other side now. I'm like, he is on par with the Glazers. The only thing he hasn't done wrong is take money at the club. But how can your organization that's worth billions, that's got nearly 30% stake in the club, and you're rich as hell, why are you asking the government for help to build a new stadium when you should be coughing up yourself? If this was any other big club, like
They'd be
Liverpool,
laughed at.
yeah, if Liverpool had done this for a new Anfield, if Chelsea had done this for Stamford Bridge, if Arsenal had done it because the Emirates is a hellhole anyway because they can't win any trophy that makes sense to them, I would absolutely rip the heck out of them on this channel. No holds barred. But I can't not be a hypocrite when it comes to United. It's just like it's not even funny anymore. Like, it's painful. But I honestly don't know. But if you're honestly asking for help to build a new stadium for the biggest club in England, then something is seriously wrong there.
Yeah. I mean, what a mess. But I will bring you into this, Doug, and I'll bring you into the question that we sort of started this open discussion off at the start of the show. So, firstly, we're going to get onto the traditional top six, and we were discussing whether that is now dead this season. And obviously, as I said, I think it's now more of a top 10, and then lower down it's going to constantly change. Obviously, we'll get onto the relegation and championship in a bit, because that's another absolute mess in itself. But I think the traditional top six is dead now, and it's more of a top 10 for me. Reece said it should only matter about the top one if whoever wins the league, but the top six is dead as well. I just want to get your...
I stand by that. Just
absolutely.
for yourself, Doug. My exact words were, the only position in this league that matters, or in any league, is number one. Like, the whole top four thing is just an Arsenal. It's just an Arsenal copium because they'll never see a Premier League title again. Like, it's just that. The only position to me that matters is number one, because you're in it to win it, or you just goal. Unless you're a club that's got virtually nothing, then you want to do as best you can. But if you're a Man United fan, a Liverpool fan, a Chelsea fan, whatever, you should only be looking to win.
It was all this sort of stuff with Arsenal and obviously trying to get top four. Like people obviously seen top four as a potential almost like a trophy to like get into the Champions League. But for me, I think the top six is well and truly over. Because I think we're seeing this season that there's so many teams that could easily get into that top four. You look at the table right now. There's obviously Liverpool, Arsenal, Forest, and City at the moment, but behind them you've got Bournemouth, you've got Villa, you've got Chelsea, you've got Brighton, you've got Fulham. You could even maybe go down to Crystal Palace, Brentford.
If he was at Everton at the start of the season, if Moyes was at Everton at the start of the season, you could be saying Everton in that conversation.
Obviously, new stadium, new owners, they're going to give it a little bit, get them to fix stuff. They could be there.
So I think the argument that the top six is dead, I think is really true. I still think there is an argument to say that we probably say there is 6 or so bigger clubs than the rest of them, but I think it's been traditionally Man United, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham. But I think now, we're kind of seeing a shift from the traditional top six, and I think fair play to Forest for first of all, Forest have been absolutely fantastic. I know Bournemouth have had 2 defeats in a row, but they've been very, very good this season.
Agreed.
You look at what Herzler's doing at Brighton as well, and I think as well you've got to give Thomas Frank credit, because a lot of people actually had Brentford to go down, considering when they lost Ivan Toney, we didn't know what was going to happen, especially with their big summer signing Igor Thiago getting an ACL on like the first day of the season, and he's found a formula now of obviously having Vissa, Shada, and Bruno, who I think has been absolutely fantastic. And I think when you look at it as well, Fulham have been great as well. So it's the Premier League this season. I know many people will obviously say it. The standard of it is quite poor, but I think what we've done is we've just taken advantage of everybody. We've taken advantage of some really, really poor teams. The fact we've only lost 1 game as well, and it wasn't even away from home, it was at Anfield to Nottingham Forest. So to be 11 points clear at the moment is fantastic. It's not winning yet, but I think between now and maybe April, I think you'll see Arsenal drop more points, because I just cannot see them being able to sustain the challenge. For me personally, I think if we win against Newcastle, I'm going to Anfield on Wednesday, so I am looking forward to that game. The crowd will be the place will be absolutely buzzing in that ground. We're playing Newcastle. Forest play Arsenal, I think, at 8:30. So 7:30. So basically, by the time our game's starting, they'll be going to half time. So all the pressure's on them, and we've seen this season as well. Forest have a very good home record, so if Forest were to beat Arsenal, we were to beat Newcastle, then it goes to 14 points. And then it's a question of, they've obviously got a week off, we've got a week off, and then they're Manchester United, I think, aren't they? And I know there's a big protest that day. And I just see, it could even be 17 points potentially by the time you guys play Arsenal. So
there's a big chance.
I honestly think the league will be won by the time they come to Anfield. I think it could be won before then.
The way it's going, honestly, I can see that happening as well. But I also see it's the reality that I agree that you are taking advantage of the league. 7th was an interesting prediction. For one,
sorry, Julio.
He will forever have to hold that prediction, unfortunately. But the one thing that is good for Newcastle, though, I think, for Wednesday, and this has happened in pretty much every game I've seen you play this season, you guys are really good at making chances, but yous are really good at giving away chances. I mean, like yous are like Arne Slot is a Dutch Hansi Flick. Like when you actually look at it, like he likes that end-to-end style of football with that aggressive play, but yous have got the same issue that Hansi Flick has to figure out with his style is you guys are so good going forward and yous are such an amazing team in the attack and yous are strong in defence, but yous give away so many chances that it only takes one, and then if it does go, well, in this case it goes wrongly for you, that ball's in the back of the net because a competent team that knows how to be organised and defend and they actually can maintain it are hard to beat. And I think that's the only thing for you, but you guys have really bitched everybody that you have played against. I don't think Arsenal are a threat to you at all. I don't rate Arsenal. I've consistently not rated Arsenal. They're the biggest cowards in Europe when it comes to playing big teams. I've said that numerous times. I don't think
just falls.
Oh, it's worse than that. Like this is a team that is overrated so highly, and I'm like, you can finish second, you can finish third, or whatever all you want, but not a single football fan. If you're a proper football fan, no proper football fan takes Arsenal seriously.
The thing is, Reece, I don't think anyone's given us enough credit for actually how Arne Slot came in and slotted in really quickly. And as well, you know, he's came into a league, he's came in after Jurgen Klopp. It almost seems like we had something when it was Bill Shankly and Bob Paisley. It feels like that again. You know, Klopp was our Bill Shankly almost. Now, you know, Slot's came in. It's almost like basically Shankly to Paisley again. And that transformation has been very, very good. But what I will say, I think one thing he has changed this season is the way we are playing in midfield. We absolutely dominate games from midfield now, and we never used to. And I think when you look at it as well, I think Gravenberch has been sensational. I think Maka has been fantastic. I honestly think the unsung hero in this team is Dominic Szoboszlai.
He's an argument to be fair, yeah. That is true.
His work rate is unbelievable. And as well, Salah is just doing Salah things. This is potentially Ballon d'Or territory, the way he's going. And obviously he's got AFCON coming up later in the year as well. But if he keeps this up, there's not going to be an argument to say that he's the best player in the world right now.
Oh, there isn't any, in my opinion. I think he's way above level wise. I think there's not many that touch him. I think that's a reality of we're in. But I do agree your whole team has found a formula. It's maintaining the formula, and I think there's no one else that's really getting it. I think the worst thing for you guys as well, and I think this is a reality we all pretty much know, it's all well and good that you guys are clicking now and you need that, but we already know next season, because they're just a bipolar team. Next season Man City are going to be, there's only one position we're coming for. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like they're
going to be back. I think Pep has done enough to have a bad season. To be allowed to have a bad season, I should say.
It was going to come eventually.
Yeah, I think when you look at Arsenal, they've done the same mistakes as they did last season. They didn't buy a striker, and I think I was on a show with you guys. I think I was on a show with another lot as well. I kept saying Arsenal need to sign a striker, because I think the striking position is the one position they're missing to have a very, very good team. And unfortunately, we've seen already Saka injured, Havertz injured. It's just, I think their injuries will come at the wrong time. But I still say that if we beat Newcastle, they get beat by Forest, then 14 points to potentially go 17. I think we've got Southampton at home. You would expect Liverpool, top against bottom, you'd expect Liverpool to win that. I mean, if I'm being honest, I think Southampton are one of the worst teams I've ever seen.
Yes, thank you.
So bad.
Agreed.
I think as well,
not Russell Martin's fault, etc., but they didn't strengthen enough for me when they came up. And this is the harsh reality. You come up for the playoffs, and unfortunately, sometimes it sort of hampers you. And this has happened all season for Southampton. Tell you the truth, I don't think that Juric is improving at all. The only game I think they've improved upon was the Manchester United game, where they were 1-0 up for about 81 minutes, and then Amad Diallo decided to come on and score a hat-trick. But apart from that, Southampton been dreadful.
Yeah, I agree. I
completely agree.
The whole Arsenal thing, like, every time I see an Arsenal fan say they're in a title race or they're going to win something, I immediately burst out laughing. I was like, there's three things in life that are guaranteed: death, taxes, and Arsenal failing to win a trophy. I've said it on here before, and I actually mean it, and I mean it with complete confidence. The disrespect, I know Tottenham haven't won a trophy in years, but the disrespect Tottenham fans get from Arsenal fans is laughable. Because Tottenham are never going to be a Premier League title contender. But they were in it twice under Pochettino by luck, that the league was awful and Pochettino knew what he was doing with that team.
Yeah.
But they are never going to be a Premier League contender. So even just to mock Tottenham for failing to win a trophy isn't even funny anymore. It hasn't been funny for a long time.
It's just sad because at the end of the day as well, look to 15-16, they came second in, third in a 2-all race.
Yeah,
that is embarrassing.
Leicester and Arsenal. The only time I think they generally should have won the league is when they were up against Conte's Chelsea.
Yeah.
When they finished second, that was the only time when they were like, this has got to be the team that's going to run Chelsea close. Surely, I mean, this is, they're cooking now. But like, Arsenal have had over 600 million to spend for Arteta, and they've got nothing to show for it. Like, Ten Hag was a terrible manager for Man United, but at least he actually proved it by winning 2 trophies.
Do you guys think it's a mentality problem at Arsenal, or is it a disciplinary issue? Because that was their 20th red card under Mikel Arteta.
I think it's a variety of things. I think it's mentality. I think it's mentality.
It's a bit of both for me.
Discipline, and I think it's an unwillingness to learn. I haven't seen any one of those players learn, and I don't this is not a harsh thing on Arsenal fans, but unless they can show me evidence, how is Saka world class? Like, I'm sorry, but Saka's not a world class player. I think he's a very good to excellent player. But
it's funny because we've had Arsenal fans comparing Saka to Salah. Come back when you can do Salah, goals assist ratio per season.
Let's face the facts with Salah as well.
There's Arsenal fans as well. Who's that young boy that Arsenal have got right now? That is it, Yanweri or whatever he's called?
Waneri, yeah.
He's been left up that he's got better potential than bloody Yassin Lamal
mentioned.
Crazy.
Arsenal fans are saying that this Waneri is better than Yassin Yamal, and I was like, this is the best teenager in world football. How can you honestly say that Waneri is better than Yamal? Like, this guy's literally conquered the Euros.
And as well as that,
16 as well.
And he's conquered Barcelona easier than Messi did.
And as well as that, they keep going on about referees are against them, but the fact that they haven't won any games when they've had a red card, barring Wolves, is very, very poor. And actually, one thing I take away from this season, Arsenal haven't won 3 games in a row all season. Liverpool have been on 6 winning run, 7 winning run, 8 winning run. Then it's obviously a draw.
Yep.
And now they're I think they're on another 15 game unbeaten run. Arsenal haven't done that. So people can moan and whine about the fact that yes, injuries are a part and parcel of football, and yes, we have been very, very fortunate, but we have had players out as well. Alisson's missed a chunk of the season. Trent Alexander-Arnold's missed a chunk of the season. We've had our injuries. Kanate's been injured. We've had to rely on Kwanzaa. Robertson, I think, was injured for a wee bit
He was
at the
injured
start of the
for a
season as well. Simicast
Even
came
the-
in. So,
It's-
Curtis Jones has had his injuries as well. So, Arsenal fans can say, yeah, we're very, very angry about the fact that, yes, we've had our injuries.
What's up,
But-
Billy? I think only two only two teams in particular in the Premier League this season have got the right to moan about injuries in terms of massive impact on their seasons. The first one because how badly prepared they were in the summer. Man United, 100%. Man United fans have got a right to moan about injuries because it's got even worse since December in terms of how many players have got injured. And the other one's Tottenham. I think nobody can come near a Tottenham fan when it comes to injuries.
Not. Especially at the back as well.
Do you know Tottenham are actually on the longest current unbeaten run in the Premier League right now?
Yeah.
Tottenham. They're on the longest current, not just unbeaten, but winning run with all these injuries. And Arsenal fans want to shout on that team. Well, newsflash, at least Tottenham got to a Champions League final and actually made an effort. All you did was was fold against Barcelona.
And as well, Arsenal fans on pages say, it's all ifs and buts. If Arsenal win against West Ham and Liverpool lose to City, then it's back to 5 points. But what happened? They lost, and then it's obviously back to 11. So
it's where does this ego come from? Like they haven't been
exactly.
Don't get me wrong. I would never have envisaged a title season this season.
Oh yeah, I think that's reasonable.
So,
I mean,
so I
Julius
think
and Chai said 7th, so.
To be fair, I've got receipts of everybody.
I actually can't remember where I said use what. I think I said you'd be in the top 4.
You had a third, I think.
Yeah, because I was
I'm trying to think where.
I think I said you guys were getting third, but I also said Everton were getting relegated.
You did.
I can't really say much, but
can I also say as well, how bad have Leicester City been this season?
I was going to get onto that as the next topic, but they've been absolutely shocking. B, Steve Cooper was obviously a panic appointment at the time. Didn't work with what Maresca built last season, and then we're obviously going to bring into this topic later on. Obviously, last season, all 3 of the promoted teams that came up went straight back down. It's going to happen again this season, and next season. I never like doing this because I always like to give at least one team a chance. And we will get onto the reason for this because I think it is a big elephant in the room.
It's reasonable.
But next season, I am 100% certain that the 3 promoted teams that are coming up, God forbid who they are, record low points going straight back down. No question. Absolutely shocking. And I'll get to obviously that in a moment.
I agree with you. I've not watched a lot of championship games this season. I've watched a few. But the ones I have been watching, generally, I see no standout.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously, Leeds are top of the league and all that. Fair enough. Like, it's disgusting, but it's just a reality. But when you actually look at the league in general, it's the same teams over and over that are either in the top 3 when they're not in the Premier League, or they're in the playoff positions, and there's no genuine effort to do better.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. Sorry, Sheffield United. Thanks for that, Julio. They're currently top at the minute, but that won't last. I think Leeds are going to win the championship anyway. But when you look at the league in general, the gap is so big.
I know. I did see it. Honestly, that keeper is liquid.
Yeah,
and he's been liquid all season.
Did
if they
he
go
have
up,
one?
he has to
Did
go.
he have one at Sunderland in the season where he literally let it bounce and went through his legs?
He's
went through the legs, lost the game.
If you were blind, or I said blind specifically because I don't want to get cancelled or whatever. If you were blind and didn't know your players, Melier is just Onana.
Yeah.
Like, absolute woeful. Melier's the worst goalkeeper in the Championship. Onana's the worst goalkeeper in the Premier League. And yet people are gassing up this merchant saying he's a good goalkeeper because he can pass a ball. His distribution's awful. God almighty.
I will get on, obviously, with the Championship as well. I
think
the reason
I don't know
put
about
it
Julio. I'm not sure about that. I mean, to be fair, Julio was technically right. Like, Leeds owners are absolutely mental rich. Thank you, 49ers.
They've also got Red Bull as well in there, so
exactly.
they've got the Jurgen Klopp size.
Exactly. They might make me happy next season, give or take, in a different way. But I think Leeds, I still don't think they're capable of staying up. And the reason being, it's always the same thing with Leeds.
Yeah.
They come up thinking that they're still the club in the 70s where they can fight their way up and fight their way through teams, and then they get shut back down.
And the biggest elephant in the room with Leeds, he is inducted into the Hall of Frauds. But we'll also get Arsenal inducted in there.
I love the fact that we've got this now every week.
This is the greatest graphic on planet Earth.
Before we went live, I specifically mentioned that we had to get the likes of Egal and Carragher and all that in this as well. But Gary Neville and Ennio Luca on this is beautiful.
Oh, by the way, don't get me started on Jamie Carragher. What he said about the AFCON, I thought was very disrespectful.
Right. What did he say? Because I've heard a lot of bloody backlash towards him. I haven't heard what he said. What did he say about AFCON?
He was going on something about like all the major tournaments that like Salah had been playing in, and he didn't mention once the AFCON where I think Micah Richards came up on him and Carragher just decided to do just like a scoff, like a reaction to that, and I thought it was very, very disrespectful because I'm actually one of the ones that actually likes the AFCON. Absolutely love the AFCON. I think it's one of the most craziest football tournaments you'll get. But yeah, I think
that is
very,
correct,
very
Julio. Julio, that is correct. Sadio Mane did finish second in the Ballon d'Or.
Yep.
Because he killed AFCON. He killed AFCON. You wouldn't hear. Here's the funny thing. Bring us back for 2 seconds.
Yep.
I mean, that I agree actually to an extent. Sadio Mane does have a greater African legacy than Salah. That is true. In terms of international football, I think I agree with Julio in that respect. When it comes to club football, I think it's the opposite. But I've always said I prefer Mane to Salah just for the type of footballer they are. But I think Salah's undeniable. No matter which type of footballer you prefer or don't prefer, like I prefer Mane because Mane was a different kind of game changer, like that kind of direct player. Whereas Salah will build to it, and it's dangerous. But Jamie Carragher says all this shit about AFCON, and I'm like, mate, you played for England at Euros and World Cups, and you've got the cheek to insult the African Cup of Nations when they've got it harder than European teams. Yeah. Like, it seems bog standard and cheap. Like, it's harder for them. They've got to, like, if it's a European Championships or a World Cup, these players get to at least get a couple of weeks off and go and rest. With AFCON, you play a game or you get deliberately rested and then you're flying off. Extreme temperature.
Doesn't sort of surprise me when I say this, but you know, I think AFCON and maybe the Gulf Cup or the Gold Cup.
Gold Cup,
yeah. All them get disrespected, I think.
I hate the fact that Copa America gets so much disrespect.
It's one of the best.
I love the Copa America. I mean, I thought last year's final was entertaining as hell. For Colombia were unlucky not to win the final. I mean, they've got one player in their midfield that I would love for Man United to sign. That Ricardo Rios plays for Palmeiras. I think he's an outstanding player. James Rodriguez looked 2014 World Cup. Rodriguez again. It looked great, but the level of disrespect towards these like this tournament, I'm like, come on, like this is the best Argentina team since that 80s side. They've done back-to-back World Cup finals. You can't disrespect the Argies like that at all. Brazil were in free fall, but it's still Brazil. Uruguay, still a deadly side. And I think the only reason why people are saying this is because people are deliberately being so obtuse, but they wouldn't say it to their faces. Like, Jamie Carragher would not have the balls to go up to somebody from a South American nation and say, your tournaments are not worth anything, they're not good enough, because he would probably get kicked in the chest.
It was.
Same with like and an African player, the exact same thing. I'm surprised that anybody, even Salah, has not responded to Carragher over his comments. I don't know if he has, but if he hasn't, then I'd be very suspicious of that. But you can't be saying shit like that on TV, you know?
No.
Like you just can't. Like that's like someone saying the same thing about the Euros.
Yeah.
We would instantly feel outraged because
yeah,
it's our exclusive tournament.
It's essentially, if you look at it in America as well, from what they call a soccer point of view, it's basically like Landon Donovan disrespecting the Euros.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Saying it doesn't mean anything on the other flip scale of it.
Yeah, exactly. And he would be ripped apart because of the fact he's played over here.
It is very arrogant.
It's the reality is, it is true. Not a lot of people watch AFCON in a different way, but there's a reason for that. The game times are hard to watch, but people still try. Like,
Yeah,
I see more people making an effort for AFCON and the Copa America and all that than they do for the Euros.
I think as well, most of the games were obviously on the now defunct Eurosport, and they were also on the BBC iPlayer.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I think we're probably trying to get the rights to the AFCON, and I think if we can, and it's then fantastic, we can obviously watch it.
I would love it to be on ITV. I would love to watch it
I
on
would
ITV.
love it, yeah,
like,
of course. Like they obviously do with La Liga sometimes.
Premier
as well.
Sport, not less so much. I'll tell you what's crazy. Speaking about MLS, trust me, I've got something about this. Trust me, I've got something on this story that'll make you laugh. I'll come back to that in a second. The connections that American clubs or American football, like soccer fans, because obviously it's soccer to them, the connections they have to African players is very interesting as well. Like, there's a lot of positive around it at the minute. It's only got even stronger now that Wilfred Zaha, again, that's a big downfall.
Yeah.
But he's now playing for FC Colorado.
Charlotte FC.
Is it Charlotte? I thought he went to Colorado. Is it Charlotte?
No,
Charlotte FC. He's
But
with
even that
Dean
was-
Smith.
Wow. Even so, it's still a downgrade, but it's a downgrade for him, but it shows his downfall. But it's only going to raise popularity for African players in the States.
Yeah, very hypocritical down below.
Yeah, Donovan had 2 loans, and he did, I'll say this controversially, he didn't work out either of them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Donovan worked at Everton, and he wasn't that good at Bayern. I think he raised morale of American players in the league, but I don't think he was
scored a fair
great.
few goals at Everton, I thought.
I think he could have been better. Maybe that's a bit harsh to say. Maybe he could have just been a bit better. But he didn't work in Germany. But yeah, he only got furious at Beckham about the Milan thing. It's not because David Beckham disrespected LA, which people think he did. It's he wanted to stay in Milan permanently because he wanted to stay in the England squad. And it's what caused him to get injured, going back and forth, States to Europe, States to Europe, States to Europe. Eventually, he's like, I need to be playing top level football to stay in my national team squad. Like what more can you do? Would you judge any player for that? If you do, then you're an absolute clown.
Because on top of that as well, with where the MLS was at the time, because they didn't have all these superstars going over, he was the first one.
Exactly, he was.
At the end of the day, how's he supposed to keep a good standard there?
You
That's
would
all
probably
we need to
argue as well with today's society, with the Chinese Super League and the Saudi Pro League, players will not get picked by the international managers if they go to the Saudi Pro League.
Yeah,
I agree. No, unless they're really unless they're a certain talent that you just can't not include, like a Kante.
Ivan Toney, best example.
Yeah,
I would even say John Duran. I think he'll probably still get a bit picked by Colombia, but you get what I mean. Like, I think England players will not get picked by Thomas Tuchel if they go to Saudi or Chinese Super League.
That's true.
And Atlanta United basically ripped up the rule book in the MLS. In my opinion.
Yeah, they did. But I think when they were incredible to watch but the rulebook is now being completely ripped up now with Inter Miami. Like
Oh my God, yeah.
they've complete. This is how David Beckham is that smart of a human being and a football fan and a football operator. He's mugged that league so much that he was able to get Messi, Suarez, Jordi Alba, Redondo's son, and Sergio Busquets all in one team, and they're going to add Neymar. Anyone who doesn't find they're not going to add Neymar is stupid. I rate Carlos Vela. Carlos Vela is probably Carlos Vela is one of the best players to play in MLS. Like I've always liked him.
Like Carlos Vela and Gareth Bale.
Even like Giroud and Luke Hugo Lloris in the same team as well is mental.
It's mad.
People laugh at the MLS, but I'm like, the MLS isn't a bad league. It's not. The problem is there's no good American players fully for operating at the minute yet.
Yeah.
In the league, they're all outside the league. But once they get their top American players that are actually developed in the country playing in their league, the MLS will smash, and America will eventually win a World Cup.
Yeah.
Like they will eventually win a World Cup.
Because
the
at the
team
end
they're
of the
developing
day,
is crazy.
At the end of the day, with like how much driven from a young age American sport is compared to pretty much every other country in the world, and the amount of funding that they get in youth systems, college, university, high schools, everything you can think of.
I think the only countries that rival America when it comes to sheer commitment to their their sport, I would say Spain, Japan, and Germany.
Massively.
I think they're the only countries that seriously take every sport that seriously, that anything below a win is, to them, it's a disgrace.
Yeah. I completely agree on that.
That's where we're at now, but
like USA are getting stronger, but they got a long way to go, is the way you got to look at it.
It's just mad as well that a few years ago people were writing off Christian Pulisic, and right now Christian Pulisic is the best player in Serie A.
Yeah.
For attacking player, like he's incredible. He's morphed, but he's saved his career, and he's now playing in a position
he was a bit patchy at Chelsea as well, which is another thing you got to remember.
Agreed. This is the football we're at now. You know what I mean? Like it's wild. But going back to what we were saying about the whole standard of the Premier League and the Championship, even, is not just that as well. It's the level of money you get from a certain position as well that really has an impact now. And I've said it once before because I find it absolutely stupid. A club like Bournemouth should not be able to outspend an AC Milan.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, it doesn't matter if the Premier League have got so much TV rights. A club like Bournemouth should never be able to outsign or outspend a club like AC Milan. Or a club like Fulham should never be able to outspend a Bayern Munich.
Or another aspect as well, on top of that, Ipswich, who were in League One 2 years ago, are spending tens of million.
Exactly.
It's absurd.
It's not. It shouldn't be possible.
It shouldn't be, and even then, when you look at that aspect, with the amount of money the bottom three teams are spending, so Leicester, Southampton, Ipswich, once again, the bottom three, but the gap and the gulf of quality between the Championship and the Premier League now is just unsustainable. Let me pop the Championship table up.
There should be no excuse for Southampton though. Southampton have got one of the richest owners in world football.
Yeah. So
they should be spending enough money to be properly staying in the league. It's just simple. Their owners don't care.
They literally don't. And the way that, obviously, I know Russell Martin, the style of play absolutely hammered it a lot, but it's just the vision and lack of forward planning to remain in the Premier League. But my gripe with the Championship this season, first of all, look at the gap between the top four and the rest of the league. Absolutely shocking. And then, I don't know whether you guys agree on this, but I'm seeing it as a Cardiff fan point of view. And obviously, my club's a disgrace as it is anyway. Everyone knows my opinions on it. This season, in my opinion, has been the worst Championship for quality-wise that I have ever seen in my life. I cannot remember
How-
a season as poor quality as this.
How the hell is there an 11-point gap between Sunderland and West Brom?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And bearing
Like,
in mind, the top 3 out of those 4 top teams are parachute teams.
Like when you look at even Burnley to Blackburn,
Yeah.
normally it's
we
like
lost a manager.
that as
Exactly.
well, yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you look at the last couple of seasons between 3rd and 6th position, they've been 4 or 5 points between them, position to position,
If that.
and now you've got 17 points between 3rd and 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is that? And exactly, Julio's right. How the heck have Burnley in 34 games only conceded 9 goals?
And not only that as well, Burnley have
Like,
been so
that-
poor.
How is that
In my
possible? How have they only conceded 9 goals?
Yeah.
That's got to be a record, surely.
It has, but when you flip it, and I will literally go through every championship team in a second, just a few words and say why this team is a fraud and why it's terrible.
Oh, they're managed by Scott Parker. They're
Yeah.
automatically a fraud. But even still, like,
That's the problem.
even so, even if they're still a fraud, they've got one of the low, like the second lowest scoring team in the top 6 of the championship, but they've got the best defense in the whole league. I'm sorry,
So
but
are
that
we-
seems suspicious as hell.
Are we now saying that Leeds United, Sheffield United, Burnley, Sunderland are probably guaranteed 1 to 4?
I
Yes,
hope Sunderland
by a mile.
I hope Sunderland force their way into 2nd, because I don't think Sunderland can win the playoffs. I want to see Joby Bellingham have one proper season in the Premier League before a big club swoops him. Because he's a special talent. But I look at the rest of this league and
It's
the fact
shocking.
that, like,
I just
Sheffield
don't want to see
United,
Burnley back up.
I
We
don't want
want
to see
obviously new
Sheffield
teams,
as well.
and Sheffield United, yeah. But
I
I
want
think it's
Coventry.
inevitable now.
Like,
This is what drives me mad, and I will get onto them shortly as well. Listening to Sheffield United fans, and I've obviously seen them a few times this season, and they have been really poor when they played us. The only
Yeah.
reason they're doing well is because A, they got the parachute money, and B, because they randomly grind out results. Like, I've seen them where we've just been completely dominant. 1 goal, there we go, victory. But you know what? I'm just going to run for it now. Leeds, shocking manager. If they go up, they need to sack Farker immediately. Sheffield United, poor all over the pitch, poor style of play, and fans are complaining like mad. They are going to be massive trouble next season. Burnley, style of play, shocking. Park the bus, sack Scott Parker if you go up. Sunderland, squad is too young. Full stop. West Brom, well, lost their manager. Have hard to replicate it since, and just
Good
too
to see Tony
inconsistent.
Mowbray back, though.
Really good to see Mowbray back, and
Agreed.
he's going to cement them in the playoffs for me. Blackburn,
Blackburn's a weird one, by the way, guys. I
yeah,
don't understand the logic of going from 6th place to 23rd in the Championship. I just don't
there's only
see it.
one reason for that: the Venkies.
Hmm.
Lack of investment and lack of ambition at the top.
Are
But
they
the
still
fact
there?
they are still there.
yeah, they're still there. I think the
Wow.
biggest shock in Julio's right. It's the person that's taking Coventry to 7th.
Yeah,
Like,
Mhm.
because I don't think anyone expected this. You know what I mean? Like, I
But
don't
he's done a
think
good job in the Championship, though. That's the thing. Yeah, Frank Lampard is a good manager for the Championship.
he is.
above
On top of that as
he's-
well, with
above
it,
that he's weak. Yeah,
Yeah, I think you look at that, and I don't see Coventry going up in the playoffs because of Lampard's record.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
one thing he needs to change.
But
I
I think
agree.
the reason they've benefited so well as well, I don't understand. I don't know what happened with Robbins. I think he just got burnt out. But they have
Mhm.
one of the strongest squads in the Championship, and they should be here.
think-
I mean, these
I
are just
think
ridiculous and
Robbins. I think
underachieving.
Robbins realised that. You know what I mean? Like, I think he realised the writing was on the wall. Like, he
Good
either
to see
keeps them
Bristol
going
City up
or he
there.
bolts.
Be
Yeah,
ni-
I agree
Be,
with
ni-
that.
be nice to see Bristol have a Premier League side.
I'm just glad that Norwich City are falling down.
Yeah, because the thing you've got to look at with these as well, Bristol City, good to see them pushing, because ever since Lansdowne overspent under the Carl Salesman, he's just pulled the plug completely. Same here with Watford. Doug, you know the absolute story with Watford managers and just the way they pulled the plug as well. Norwich, where do we start after they lost their parachute?
Millwall's attack is just as bad as their defence. That says it all. Like, a perfect goal difference of 0.
Yeah. For 11th in the league as well.
Sheffield Wednesday were always going to have an improvement on them. They could still come back into it a bit.
Portsmouth. I'm actually glad to see Portsmouth are not in a relegation fight at the minute because I'm glad they're doing quite well.
And they have a slightly mess squad. Not to be arrogant, but the fact that they've gone up to 17th when most people had them just about surviving, that's insane. Preston with their squad, that's a mess.
Middlesbrough's a big surprise for me. I thought they would be right up there, but
I don't rate Michael Carrick as a manager. I think people have overrated him from that one season. People are like, but he never got back in his second season. I was like, yeah, we can see why, because he didn't do enough.
And he massively lost players as well. I don't know what it is with Middlesbrough. They always seem to find a good striker and lose them. Latte Lass gone.
Gary Rowett seems to have done a good job at Oxford. They seem to be, he seems to be steadying the ship there.
I must have been one of the only people to predict Oxford staying up.
Yeah.
In the Championship comfortably.
The mad thing is the team mad thing about this entire league is the team that's bottom of the league. Yeah. That's the scary thing.
Yeah.
Like Luton Town
again, it's so
relegation.
Tight. It's so tight down there as well. Like
Rob Edwards as well. Like,
only 3 points is separating 24th from 21st. So one bad game and you'll be down there.
Massively.
It's crazy as well that Rob Edwards got sacked as well for the season. He's actually one of the bookies' favourites to get the Rangers job. He's on the Rangers booking list to get the job. No, thank you. Even though I like Rob Edwards, no, thank you. Please, no, thank you.
Just need a refresh. But the thing with
this league is this league is the word joke would be harsh to the word joke because you look at some of these teams and you're way underachieving.
Yeah,
like Plymouth Argyle are a pathetic joke to the Championship. They do nothing when they get promoted every time. They go straight back down. Like they should rename their club to the Pies. Cardiff are finished. Hull City should just do what the owner said they were going to do. They should rename themselves the Hull Tigers. Just merge as one football club and rugby club. Just get rid of one. Either you be a football club, you be a rugby club. Get rid of one of them.
Exactly.
Stoke are finished anyway. Swansea. They mean nothing.
They are shocking.
Football. Preston North End are right, but
I'm sorry, but I am going to say this about Swansea, and I don't know if I'm arrogant or not, but how on earth do you go splattering out how bad your owners are for lack of investment when you don't have the money? You then get rid of your owners, put Andy Coleman in charge with different backing, then you somehow get even worse under him. Back a manager in Luke Williams that is all style and what you feed into all the time, and then I know. And then this is what really annoyed me on the weekend. You get Alan Sheehan in, who wins 3-0 against a team in the playoffs, and your fans are still complaining because you didn't get good possession, and you don't want to see you win 3-0 if you're under 50% possession. I'm sorry, but I just cannot cope with their fan base. Oh,
it's a Swansea.
It's infuriating.
I don't get their mentality. You know what I mean? Like this whole obsession with dominating possession stats is what has killed the enjoyment of football.
I think on top of that as well, because I've got loads of mates who are Swansea fans. I think obviously, I know we know between like 2010 and 2015, you had this ideology of the Swansea way. However, they have taken it post 2016 and have abused it massively because back then they were a free-flowing, constantly attacking sides who played beautiful football on the ground, short passing, getting it forward really quickly. Now they're just possession merchants. Just keep the ball at all costs, and who cares if we draw 0-0? It's 75% possession. That's just abuse.
If you're winning a game 5-6-0 and you're absolutely dominating possession because you're being the absolute better team, then absolutely, I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
But you're genuinely stupid in the way that it's nothing to do with them. It's nothing to do with that. Michael Laudrup is just one player that I absolutely loved watching.
Yeah.
The style of football isn't even all possession football if you actually look at it, because at Copenhagen and Brøndby, but Brøndby especially, he was playing high pressing football that included possession. It's actually the blend. It's actually the blend of football that I like. But when you look at the whole obsession of we just want to keep the ball and do nothing with it, those are the type of football teams that need to be outlawed. Like, regardless, like anything that's coached by Russell Martin needs to be outlawed from football for good.
Yeah.
Anything that's outlawed by Pep Guardiola needs to be resurfaced. But I don't care how good a manager is, if your only intention is just possession football, then go to a league where you're going to have all the money. You're going to just be the one team league, because it's not for me. I like possession when it's fun. If it's like 55-45 or say 58 to 42% possession difference, I'm alright with that, because that means the other team's actually had a bit of run in the game as well. You want to have a little bit of jeopardy in your game, but you want to still dominate. I just hate it when you see one game that's like 85% against 15%. Like that is not fun for me, That's not how football should be.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's just
So do I.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's plenty of times where Laudrup could have came back to the Premier League. I think Swansea fans just abused him that much by their willingness to say, "Oh, but we can do better." No, you can't. You won the cup because Michael Laudrup was a world-class footballer, and you're an average football club. Like,
bearing in mind as well, there was massive arrogance there and all, because at the end of the day, 2007, they were in League One, League Two.
Yeah,
Dan James hasn't changed this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's still shit.
He's just dived in the penalty box to him in a penalty. Jack Robinson just basically got to him, basically told him what he was doing, and basically get out of here. Never a penalty.
I know it sounds harsh to Everton fans, but I've watched it back, and Dan James just done exactly what Ashley Young did.
Well, that was never a penalty either.
I thought it was going to be given as a penalty. That's why I initially said it's a penalty. But when I went and watched it back from a different angle, I was like, Ashley Young, you're actually trying to dive against the team that gave you a career. Absolute joke. Imagine that as well. A club that never disrespected Ashley Young as well. That actually gave him a chance to live his dream and be a Premier League title winner. Win European trophies a lot. Absolute disgrace. Julio, the answer is yes. 100%. We have thrown mud at you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been
yes.
I've been quite calm about it all. I'm not going in on you, but
you've been 7-up, mate.
But I will get on to the two big elephants in the room at the bottom of the league. Now, in my opinion, with the bottom of the championship as well, there is literally no difference between, I'd probably say, 15th and below and the top 10 in League One. Like, any of the teams from Stoke down would not get into the top two in League One, in my opinion. This lot is so poor.
Just look at the teams who's in the top two for League One as well.
Yeah,
they make the championship better.
They do.
The two teams that are coming up from the League One next season makes the championship better. Sadly, Nathan, you're not going to like it, but Wrexham's one of them.
As it currently stands, I've got 2 out of the 3 for relegation spot on so far.
That's excellent.
I've got Derby and Plymouth in the exact same positions as well.
Julio, I think that's a fair question.
And I hope to God it stays that way, Doug. But, well, I've got the worst championship prediction ever. It is.
It's going to be weird next season when you've got Cardiff, Wrexham and Swansea in the same league. Yous are all going to hate each other.
If Cardiff stay up, of course.
If we stay up. Because at the moment, I'm... Like, let's bring the two elephants into the room. Stoke and Cardiff.
Finished.
I'm gonna be arrogant here, and it just no, I don't. Right, who cares if I get cancelled here? Two of the biggest clubs in the league, maybe a little bit less Stoke, right? Two of the biggest clubs in the league, consistently, two of the richest owners as well, consistently at the bottom of the championship. How does that even work?
Because they don't care about improving the league as long as they've got their position and the fact that the fans are happy with it. That's what I said earlier on. Like, Stoke fans actually sum up my whole point of being somewhere and wanting something. Stoke fans used to have the ambition of, we want to be at some point competing to get into a UEFA Cup place / Europa League when they're in the Premier League. They wanted to have a stab at Europe once. So their standards used to be quite high. Now their standards are, anything we can get in the Championship is better than getting relegated. Stoke City fans are the problem why they're where they are, not their owners. The owners came in and went, this is what we're going to do. And the Stoke fans have went, okay. Like, Stoke fans have literally just said, thank you very much. We'll take 19th position in the Championship. That's all right with us. Our Premier League days are done. Thank you. And I'm like, no. Like, at least Leeds fans turned around and went, no, we're not having this anymore. We want to be back in the Premier League. After being away for so long, they went psycho at their owner. They went, no, we want back in this league. Get us back to the Premier League. Where's the ambition from Stoke fans?
That's the thing I want to know, because taking it on the other side of it, how many times do I have to sit in the road on Sloper Road to get rid of Vincent Tan? And how is he still 13 managers since he's been in charge, maybe even more?
You need to find the Stoke, the Sports Direct home base, mate, like the Stoke, like their HQ, and ask Mike Ashley for a meeting, because I know you want Mike Ashley as your owner. It's all right.
I know it sounds insane, and I say it all the time. I would take Mike Ashley as an owner tomorrow if I had to get rid of Vincent Tan. I would do anything to get rid of him.
Use badly need a change, because he is getting worse and worse. But like, Tan's on a whole nother spectrum now for chaos. It's ridiculous. Like, I don't know. I'm surprised you are so far down. Like that far down. I'm surprised, because we actually thought you would be so much higher. We all did. We thought you'd be at least 20 positions higher or close. Yous are so far out, and yous are in trouble. Like, yous are in massive trouble.
I'm just sending something in the
to be honest. Of course.
It's exactly my thoughts on AFCON as well.
Oh, that's how.
Now in a sec.
Ian Wright is absolutely spot on.
That's I gotta see.
But going back to what I was saying about, obviously, fans wanting owners out and stuff, I'm sorry, but when this constantly happens season after season outside the main entrance, how do you still have a mandate to still run the club? Every single season we are out that front door.
Yeah.
It's a disgrace. And to be honest, well, I just know it's going to happen. We are going to end up with, if he's still at the club, we're going to end up in League One within the next 2 years minimum. If we even could even go down this season, which will just put us into absolute ruin. But it's just a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Let's have a look at what Doug's.
Ouch. What an absolute tweet. That. I mean, he needs to be specific and say Abedi Pele before anyone goes, Pele was Brazilian. There's actually a comment in here that's wild. The top comment on Ian Wright's, this tweet of this clip about Ian Wright's video, that Tammy Miduciano has literally said AFCON is bigger than the Euros. I mean, that's not what Ian Wright is saying at all. But this is where...
It's just spin doctor in his words at this point.
This is where the wrong side of tribalism comes around. But this is an absolute brilliant an applicable tweet. I mean, the fact that one of these players as well is a Ballon d'Or winner.
Sky Sports have apparently removed the bit where Micah Richards comes in and says AFCON is a major competition. Carragher goes seriously on YouTube, apparently. They've removed it.
I wonder why. To protect Jamie Carragher from possible shouts of he's racist. I guarantee you that'll be why.
Yep.
It's still 1-0 Sheffield United against Leeds.
Yeah, Sheffield United been all over them.
They have, and that puts them top of the league as well.
Yeah.
But, go on.
It's just ridiculous like how bad. See, referees get called out for their shit. Roma are actually beating Monza 3-0 as well. Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Napoli blew it as well last night. They had the league wrapped up last night. If they had beaten Como and they bloody blew it. Fools.
Don't really at Atalanta.
Oh, they're a good side. I don't think they'll win the league, but they're a good side.
No, but I think the fact that they're in the title race is quite amazing.
Yeah. It's such an interesting league this year.
The way they've
Very
been so consistent as well. And speaking about Serie A, we'll squeeze this one very quickly. Como.
I mean, they're the richest club in Italy.
They are the richest club in Italy.
Not many people know that. Not many people know that, but it's true.
But boy, have they lit it all on fire recently. They have been amazing. Cesc Fabregas as manager, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing what people who actually read into it expect them to do.
I think Como...
Oh, that's hilarious, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely funny. I think Como, if you look at them in the right way, if things fall into place for them, they give me 90s Parma vibes.
Yeah.
Except they won't go bust. But they give me 90s Parma vibes where they'll build a good team. It'll add really good players to fit the system, then they'll win maybe the odd European trophy or the odd Coppa Italia, and they might win one league title. Like, they have it in them, the amount of money they've got, where they'll just go, right, stuff this, let's go. I'd like to see them. I'd like to see them win at least once as well. It'd be nice.
It'd mix it up and it'd like constitute all what they've done really as well. But Reece, let's get the truth board watching. Let's get him inducted. I've chucked him at the bottom.
Yeah,
Phillipe Clement. I'm sorry, but you lose to Queen's Park. You lose to St Mirren. You have been calling for it. I'm sorry, but I don't know what is more a clear sackable offence than losing to those two at Ibrox and being so much of a fraud that
you should have been gone at the start of the season.
He should have been gone ages ago. Why is it taken until the 23rd of February for this to happen?
Don't have money. That'll be the Rangers' reason. They didn't have money to do it. But yeah, 100%. I would have. I absolutely would have sacked him after Queen's Park. I don't think he deserved the season anyway. I didn't have any faith in Phillipe Clement. That's true. Every single time a manager gets this, the sacking's coming.
Patrick Stewart is an absolute fraud and a half.
He's a fucking imbecile. The worst thing about it is Phillipe Clement has made the worst stupid thing. He's done exactly what. You can go back and look at the way I was criticising Van Bronckhorst. He's done the exact same thing. He's taken the league for a mug and he's went, I want to have fun in Europe. And I'm like, yeah, Phillipe Clement's done really well with Rangers in Europe this season. But Jesus Christ, you should be competing with Celtic for the fucking league. I mean, it's a joke. This current board, since Dave King stopped being chairman 5 years ago, they're like, he's only back in the club now because he's the reason that the 49ers are trying to buy the club. Like, he's actually went and had conversations with them to sell his shares. They're going to end up taking over the club the way things are going. But when I look at Phillipe Clement, the amount of money he's actually had spent on this squad, Rangers selling good players for cheap money, and I'm like, no wonder Celtic are battering them on off the pitch. I mean, it's the level of finance, and I think Phillipe Clement's ID for talent is shocking. Like, some of the players that he's brought in have not improved at all. I think bar Vaclav Cherny, I don't think any player he's signed has been good. I think Raskin and Diomande are far too good for a manager like him. I think Jack Butland has regressed so badly. I think Rangers will regret letting McCrory go.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rangers will regret that. I think personally, Rangers shouldn't have kept Jack Butland. I think they should have kept McCrory and just made him the long-term number one goalkeeper. The way they got rid of Connor Goldson has backfired spectacularly because the defenders aren't good enough. Tavernier's done as a right back.
Mm-hmm.
We see it now. He's on the bench a lot. I think Barry Ferguson will probably put Tavernier back in the squad as an experienced leader. And Tavernier will probably score 2 free kicks as a rebound, or he'll score 2 penalties that are handpicked for him. But when I look at it in general, Rangers are so bad, and they deserve it because they didn't sign Duke from Aberdeen, and they didn't sign Shanklin from Hearts. Those were the top striker targets, and Rangers didn't make any considerable offer to sign either one of them. When it comes to strikers, Rangers are screwed, and they should have. How can you keep Dessers? How can you keep Danilo? Hadji is the most talented player in this Rangers team, and he's actually going to Galatasaray for nothing in the summer. How can you lose Yanis Hadji? He's an absolute machine. It's bad. For me personally, Barry Ferguson's got nothing to lose. He's not going to get the job permanently anyway. But out of the 12 names linked to the Rangers job, the one I thought who would be on the shortlist isn't, so I can rule him out. Who I would have given the job to, he's not on the shortlist, so he's out. Mm-hmm. But Rangers at all costs in the summer have to go for Kevin Muscat. They have to go for Kevin Muscat. I don't think they have any other reliable option. I know the former Denmark manager's on the shortlist. I know he got him to a European Championship semi-finals, but I don't think that's enough pedigree to take the Rangers job. I don't think it's worth it. The likes of Steven Gerrard is linked again to the job. Sean Dyche is linked to the job. Frank Lampard is linked to the job. All these guys, Rangers have to avoid. That is asking for trouble. I think if they go for Kevin Muscat, it's somebody that understands the club. He's also got success, and also it's not directly being Postecoglou, but he has the same bracket of area. He could bring in some really good, hard-working Asian players, add them into this squad, and it'll actually turn the fortunes around because they're lacking it. Rangers are being bullied in some markets, and that's a market they need to improve in. But I don't know where they're going to end up. But Rangers are in massive trouble. Rangers need an ownership change, a board change, and they need a style change, rapid. I know, Julio. Muscat was the favourite for the job until they gave it to Clement.
Yeah.
They went in for Clement over Muscat, and I was like, "These have made a massive mistake." He's up there with, in terms of full-time managers, he's up there with Paul Le Guen and Pedro Caixinha for worst foreign Rangers manager. And Michael Beale is the worst from the UK.
by a mile. Michael Beale, Nick Beale, whatever you want to call him.
Beals on wheels.
Beale's on wheels. Beale or no Beale.
1-1.
Oh, Firpo.
Ooh.
Purple.
Purple.
Everything you need to know. We bring it up every single season. This merry-go-round every year.
You know what makes me sick as well? Is the other names that are on the shortlist for the Rangers job.
Mm-hmm.
The worst
Did I see
manager.
Russell Martin on there?
He's on it as well.
Frauds.
So's Gareth Southgate.
Frauds.
I'm actually going to get you the shortlist that the 12-man shortlist, which is crazy.
Oh, this is going to be horrifying. Actually, saying that as well, completely forgot Julio's comment. Need to get predictions of championship. Forgot about that.
I think that might be the reason, Julio. But to be fair, using the Belgian league as an example is it's not really much. I'm surprised that the one person that's not on the shortlist is somebody that I said should have got the job years ago. Derek McInnes is again not considered for the Rangers job. How is that? Why is he not considered?
I can't understand that.
Like, right now, Rangers need Muscat in that way it's similar in a way. Like he plays that. He plays an aggressive style of football that's all about like creating so much chances, and it's an organised side. But it's mad that he isn't even getting the option. I like the people who are linked to the job. You know what I mean? Like, I think the current 4-man team, who's the interim manager right now, I'm actually happy with. Like Barry Ferguson leading the charge of McGregor, Dodds, and McCann. Actually, until the end of the season, I'm fine with. It's not a great place for them, but it's not so bad. I just want Barry Ferguson to just stick the nut in Patrick Stewart's face.
100%.
Alan McCoy, by the way, tipped Frank Lampard to get the job. I'm like, please no.
I don't see why he'd leave Coventry either.
Can't see him leaving Coventry.
Lunacy. But as Julio's promised, apologies, I had to get Rangers in because I just wanted to hear what Reece, and obviously you, Doug, your thoughts about this mess.
I've got so much more to say on it, trust me.
Don't blame you.
Like,
I'll also get our Prem ones
joke.
back up as well, but this is everyone's. It is a
It's
disgrace.
Blackburn. I thought it was Plymouth.
To be fair, though, very close.
Yeah. Not far with Stoke either. I think they're 19th, aren't they?
Let me get my screen up. I think so. Yeah, Stoke are 19th. That's good. Not far.
I think Luton Town's my worst prediction.
I think that's going to be everyone's. Reece, explain yours. Whose fault?
Well, to be fair, I was expecting them to just go ahead and do better at the time. So
I think
I was more reasonable at the time for the actual situation. That's why I said they would go and do it. But
I actually have West Brom, which is quite interesting.
To be fair, in top six, that's a good prediction, but I don't know what I was thinking here. Or less.
To be fair, Julio's got the top 3 at the moment.
Julio, the difference is what you said was absolutely insane. What I said was they just got relegated, but they've still got money.
Yeah.
Mine's is actually a reasonable expectation. You're just mad, man.
Julio did have some mad shouts, to be fair, but another one I will get at, because I know there's been a lot of shockers this year. I want to see everyone's Premier League. Just grab those now. Because obviously we're all on, so got to see this. Right, let's have a gander. Sorry, I've just seen my predictions. Oh my god.
I'm actually laughing.
Good grief.
I'm actually laughing at this article. This has got to be the funniest thing I've ever seen when it comes to Rangers. They've actually the article literally says extremely successful manager in frame to replace Phillipe Clement. This was 9 hours ago, right?
Go on, as he said.
This extremely successful manager has listened to the words of Mikel Arteta about Russell Martin. How is he extremely successful? Oh, it's absolute.
He's finished mid-table with MK Dons. He finished mid-table twice with Swansea. He got Southampton up just with one of the most expensive squads in Championship history.
It's so delusional.
And then he gets sacked at Southampton with making them worse potentially than Derby. But
I know.
my
Hold
God.
on. Oh wait, never mind. Hold on. It looks like. Okay, Ben Jacobs. This is very interesting. I'd like to know how he got this. Ben Jacobs has actually said that either Derek McInnes or David Wagner are being considered for the Rangers job next season as well. So
Okay.
McInnes is on under any other sources, not saying McInnes apart from Ben Jacobs.
Wow.
Like,
To be
genuinely,
fair-
he should be considered. He's the most Rangers type manager if you think about it. Like, classic Rangers makes sense with Derek McInnes. Yeah, Wagner according to Ben Jacobs, yeah.
Wagner will be a massive risk.
I think, see, the thing is, though,
You guys.
I think it was a horrible risk at Huddersfield, even though his team was actually playing good the first time.
Yeah,
See if he-
flying.
Yeah, but see if you give him the right type of backing, and you just like you give him proper backing, you tell him like what we want is that high pressing style that you had in Germany in your first season at Huddersfield, and we'll give you whatever. Wagner would probably cook. I don't think he'll get the job though, but if you properly backed him, it's hard not to see him do it. Especially because his hyper talent, especially for his system, would actually fit well. He's not a bad manager either. I don't think he's a bad manager at all. And he won't need to change much up here. Like, Rangers are best suited when they play a high pressing style of football. Rangers aren't a possession team. Rangers are so much better when they play direct attacking football. Celtic are a possession team. Celtic have always been a possession team.
And they keep to their ideology. That's the thing. But
As-
yeah,
as- If Red Bull got the job, if Red Bull got control of Rangers, there's only one manager I would give the job to. I'm giving that job to Hasenhüttl.
that'd be a good show, actually.
If Red Bull had taken it, obviously, I would have given it straight to them. I absolutely got my predictions so badly wrong. I had Liverpool second. See, I mean, at least I understand some football.
Don't. I had him fifth. I'm gonna look horrendous when we do this review video.
I mean,
Oh my god, it's such a shocking take.
Nathan is actually the closest when it comes to my club. That is bitter painful. Like,
I just knew it was going to be a disaster, but I didn't expect it to be as low as.
I think we've all realistically got. I think all the clubs that we regret with our predictions, 100%, is Brentford,
Yeah.
Forest, and Brighton. I think we all kind of regret our predictions for them, but
Not so much with me. I got my 11th.
I actually think me and you, dude, are actually and Julio as well. I thought I had Everton get relegated. Alright, we're alright then. When it comes to Everton, we're actually okay. But Jesus Christ, we all got Forest badly wrong.
I mean, with Forest, the thing I will defend myself with, and I'm going to say this in the video, I had Nuno on fraud watch because of his time at Spurs.
To be fair, so did I. I didn't think
Everyone did, to be fair.
But I didn't think they get relegated because the 3 other teams I thought were much worse. And realistically, we've all been right, except for Ipswich. Ipswich aren't even a bad team. They've just been unlucky when they've played really well.
It is a shame because out of all the teams I wanted to stay up, I wanted to be them. And not only that as well, when teams get double promoted, look at Southampton, look at Norwich. They normally fly in that season because of the momentum. And I'm surprised that I thought they were going to do it, but it turns out they didn't. But probably going to go to parting comments now, lads. Reece, going to start with you.
Sir Jim Glazer, the Rangers board, Jerry Cardinale, who owns AC Milan, all need to die.
Fair enough.
Jesus.
In the worst way, like their career's professional level when it comes to football clubs has to die. Like they should not be allowed to run.
I mean, it's brutal.
Clubs. It's a disgrace.
I mean, it's brutal but fair. But Doug, thank you so much for making time to come on tonight. It's much appreciated. Again, great to see you back, bud.
Pleasure. Yeah, pleasure as always. And yeah, it was good to come back on.
It's been fun tonight. Tonight's been awesome.
That has been fun. Yeah, I'm at Anfield on Wednesday, so no doubt that's going to be absolutely buzzing. Looking forward to that as well. And just hopefully by the time I come back on, we'll have won the league. So fingers crossed.
100%. And obviously, you'll go into God.
How mental is this? How mental is this? I just went to have a look at something. Barry Ferguson's first 2 games as Rangers interim managers against Derek McInnes and Mourinho's Fenerbahce. That's the first time Mourinho ever managed at Ibrox.
That is mad.
That is mad. He's managed everywhere, but he's never managed at Ibrox. That's incredible.
Considering you guys' pedigree is, I know obviously you guys were, let's just say about the early 2010s, but it's mad how he hasn't. With both of you guys.
Gus Hamer should be off.
Oh, really? What's he done?
For that name alone.
Already been cautioned, catches Willie Norton with a rash challenge. No red card from David Webb, who hasn't shown a single red card this season.
Shock. One of the worst, up there with Madley and me, one of the worst referees in the league. Absolutely disgraceful. But saying that, Leeds have just scored a winner.
Have they?
So they've regained top spot at the Def.
They have regained top spot at the Def.
I secretly think Leeds fans want to be Sir Alex Ferguson fans. With late goals, madness. But
I think that all confirms they're coming up.
Yeah, that's it. If
Leeds
they can get,
definitely.
Who's going to stop them now, eh?
Yeah.
Oh well, that's that. At least I got Villa Park to look forward to on Friday. But if you guys have enjoyed it, you know what to do.
Jesus Christ! Jesus Christ, Julio. Not that. It's his other comment. Jesus. I mean, it's free. It's free screens on my desk, thank you. But I would absolutely unplug all their life supports when it comes to managing football clubs or owning football club. I would remove them all one by one.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, one other thing actually.
Go on, Reece.
This is our shout to the. This is actually one to the SFA. Can we stop with how our TV's broadcasting is being deliberately disgusted on our football clubs, please, and increase the size of the league to 16 teams at least. That's point 2. And the third one, stop sucking up to Peter Lawwell. He should not be in charge of this bloody league. Absolute wimps, man. Like this.
It is bad. Oh my god, it's 3-1.
What? How?
Sheffield
How's
United key
What's
win.
happened? Oh, and it's Piro as well, of all people.
What?
God, that
Pirlo-
man brings so much misery to my life. It's unbelievable.
How the? That's. How's that possible?
Well, Carl will be happy.
I'm gonna speak
Yeah,
to him
I
on
can
Saturday.
see. I can see. Carl is loving it on Twitter at the moment.
He's
Oh
gonna
my
give
God.
me. He's gonna give me double hell on Saturday.
Need to watch this.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But
they're going to be in the
what-
Premier League.
What
Okay.
what a show! Fun times
Oh,
tonight, and
Great to be back.
well, if Doug's there Saturday, I'll be seeing him Saturday for sure.
Yes, I will be on there. I will be there on Saturday.
What
Oh,
time
I
is
can't
it?
listen
Do you
to
know?
this.
Is it early? Is it going to be in the
11
afternoon?
o'clock.
11. Right. Okay, that's fine. That is fine. I'm looking.
Phenomenal. Yeah, make sure to check that out, guys. Levy and Doug podcast. Levy and Horn. Apologies, always get it wrong. Make sure to check it out, guys.
My
I always
first
have a
appearance at the
stinker.
worst time. My first
I know.
appearance at the worst time.
Make sure
I'm
to
looking
listen to
forward
it,
to
guys. Subscribe, listen to Spack on Spotify. And aside from that, see you all next time. Have a good one. Enjoy.
Live on YouTube. And listen back on Spotify. This is the World of Football podcast.